my name is Chloe. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you a repeat of a challenge I did last year, kind of, and that is 21 books I want to read in 2021. So I did do 20 backlist books I wanted to read in 2020. It worked pretty well as a challenge, so I feel like it was a good idea to repeat it for 2021. There's not really much to say about it. I had said in 2020 that if I hadn't read the book I would unhaul it by the end of the year. I'm kind of thinking the same about these ones, but also don't want to make any promises. So let's just say that there's no punishment, but I should at least consider unhauling them if I don't read them by the end of next year. So where do we even start? The first one is the end of a series, and that is Finale by Stephanie Garber. So this is the third book in the Caraval series, which I absolutely love. There is genuinely no reason why I haven't read this book yet. So I can't tell you much about this one. But Caraval is a magical game that appears, and do you know what? I don't even remember. Do I need to reread Caraval and Legendary before I can read this? I think I do. But the whole of the series follows Scarlett and her sister Tella. At least I remembered Scarlett. And their interactions with this game. I don't even know. So I guess this is me adding 3 books to my TBR. I'm adding Legendary, Caraval, Legendary, and Finale. But it needs to happen. Next, I have one Victoria is going to scream at me for that I've never read, and that is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. So I bought this book in October of 2019, and I haven't read it yet, which is not a surprise. I buy a lot of books and don't read them. But I know that this is supposed to be completely amazing, and I've just never ever reached for it. I still don't kind of want to, but I feel like it's something that I have to read. Is it some sort of dystopian? I don't know. But Victoria raves about Margaret Atwood so much, so I feel like I need to read this. I owe it to her. So I guess I've got to read it this year. Next, I have another book from October of 2019, and that is The Cellar by Natasha Preston. So this is a book that Brittany actually gifted to me when I went to visit her, and this is a thriller about... who knows? For months, Summer is trapped in a cellar with the man who took her and 3 other girls, Rose, Poppy and Violet. His perfect pure flowers, his family, but flowers can't survive long, cut off from the sun, and time is running out. Okay, I do remember reading that. It's a little bit of a chunker for a thriller, but the words are quite big on the pages. I need to read it, I have no excuses. Next, I have one from, I want to say, Christmas of 2018. Which is pretty bad. And it's Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. So my mum and dad actually got me this on Christmas. It was on my wish list, so my mum just picked it. And this is supposed to be a very, very hard-hitting YA contemporary. This is about Charlotte. At 17, she's already lost more than most people do in a lifetime, but she's learned how to forget. The broken glass washes away the sorrow until there is nothing but calm. You don't have to think about your father and the river, your best friend who is gone forever, or your mother who has nothing left to give you. It says, a deeply moving portrait of a girl in a world that owes her nothing, yet has taken so much, and the long journey back to hope. Sounds very, very hard-hitting, and I think that's why I've put it off. I'm just really daunted that I'm not going to absolutely love this, but I really would like to give it a go. So I guess 2021 is the time. I've just noticed the lighting is pretty awful. I'm filming this at lunchtime so that I had the best lighting, but it's England in November, so it's black outside. Next, we have a book that I have had for, I wouldn't even want to know how long. I've also just found a dead insect on the inside of the cover, so that is charming. Extraordinary Means by Robin Schneider. I bought this in the hype of loving The Fault in Our Stars. I read Differently Normal by Tammy Robinson. That's another book around about that time in my reading. Don't know what it's about. It's published in 2015. Okay, so this is about Lane, sent to Latham House, a boarding school for sick teens, but when he meets Sadie and her friends, a group of eccentric troublemakers, he realises that maybe getting sick is just the beginning, that illness doesn't have to define you, and that falling in love is its own cure. So I think it's one of those love saves all YA contemporaries with actual illness, but sounded cool whenever I got my hands on it, and I still haven't picked it up. Next we have one I purely bought because of the film, and that is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I bought it not knowing it was this long. I did want to pick this up. It has been on my like to-do list. The cover is where it's like reprinted. Weirds me out. This is about the apocalypse, really, and the end of the world. It says, the first wave took out 500,000 people. The second wave put that number to shame. The third lasted a little longer, 12 weeks, 4 billion dead. In the fourth wave, you can't trust that people are still people. And the fifth wave, no one knows, but it's coming. This felt a bit too hard to read this year. I know it's not, one of the waves is a disease, I know that. Because I remember the film, but that is all I remember from the film. The film has Chloe Grace Moretz, whatever her name is. And I love her, so I watched the film because of that, and now I have not read the book. It seems just like a pretty dense dystopian that feels hard to get into, but needs to be read at some point. Next we have a book I bought because of my dissertation I did at college, so that would have happened in 2016. So I sort of feel like I might have had this book since 2016, and that is A Mother's Reckoning, Living in the Aftermath of the Columbine Tragedy by Sue Klebold. So that is the mother of Dylan Klebold, one of the Columbine shooters. So this says, 16 years have passed since that terrible day, and I have dedicated them to understanding what is still incomprehensible to me, how a promising boy's life could have escalated into such a disaster and on my watch. What did I miss, and how could I have missed it? What should I have seen? What could I have done differently? It does say all author profits from the book will be donated to research and to charitable organisations focusing on mental health issues. Didn't read that when I bought it. That's really cool. So yeah, this is just about Sue really coming to terms with what her son did and whether it was her fault, because obviously a lot of people will blame the parents in school shooting situations, and just sort of reflecting on his childhood and if there were signs and things like that. Obviously it's going to be a little bit biased because it is from her, but I just feel like it's going to be a really interesting insight to have. And again, it feels like a hard one. I don't really read that much non-fiction, so it's been a bit of a daunting one for me, but I do really, really want to read it. Next we have Finding Sky by Joss Sterling. I know nothing about this. I thought it was a YA contemporary. I'm pretty sure it is. Sky has a secret past. Having buried the truth of her traumatic childhood deep inside, she's something of a mystery even to herself. Starting a new school, she catches first glimpse of Zed. He stalks the corridors, a godlike creature among mortals. Sky is dumbfounded when he seems drawn to her, but there's more to Zed and to Sky than she realises. So maybe there is like a fantastical twist on this. I really have no idea, and I've owned it for far too long. I'm pretty sure I got it for like 50p in a charity shop, and that's the only reason I picked it up, and now I need to get it off my shelves. Next one that I think has quite a lot of promise, and that is Seafire by Natalie C. Parker. So this is a girly pirate story, I believe. Oh, it's the first in a trilogy. Okay, that's exciting. Ooh, look at that. It's gold. That's cool. Okay, right. So the first in a heart-stopping trilogy that recalls the undeniable feminine power of Wonder Woman and the power keg action of Mad Max Fury Road, Seafire follows the captain of an all-female ship intent on taking down a vicious warlord's powerful fleet. Okay, that's all I'm going to read. It's a girly pirate book that's a bit action-packed, I guess. So Beware the Wild by Natalie C. Parker was on my 20 books to read in 2020, so I wanted to add the other book I have of hers onto my 2021 list, as I have no intention of picking this up, but it's really cool looking, so it's on the list now. Now I have a book that has sat for far too long and read on my shelves, and that is Landline by Rainbow Rowell. So I've sort of avoided Rainbow Rowell's adult stuff. I believe this is one of her adult books. I'm pretty sure it is. Okay, so I have enjoyed Rainbow Rowell's adult work far more than her young adult work. So Attachments is maybe my favourite book by her, which I know is a controversial opinion, but I really like it. It says, what advice would you give the younger you, and would you listen? As far as time machines go, a magic telephone is pretty useless. TV writer Georgie McCall can't actually visit the past. All she can do is call it and hope it picks up. Is she going crazy, or is this a chance to make things right with her husband Neil? Maybe she can fix the things in their past that seem to be unfixable in the present. Maybe this stupid phone is giving her a chance to start over, if that's what she wants. Sounds weird. I don't think I've ever read that. It just needs to happen, really. It needs to get off my shelves. Next is another continuation of my 2020 list. We've got Angelfire by L.A. Weatherly. So this is the sequel to Angel, which was on last year's list. It is a whopper. How many pages is this? 709. Wow, okay. I do really want to read this. So the only reason I bought Angelfire and Angel Fever, I bought them a very, very long time ago. I want to say about when they came out. So Angel Fever is book number 3. Sorry, I don't know why I've said that without explanation. This one was published in 2011. I feel like the latest I could have bought it is 2014. I read Angel, the first book, and had to get the next books. But then I didn't reread Angel till this year. So I finally need to get to this one. Right, I think we're over halfway. Let's keep going. Next, we have Snow Falling by Jane Gloriana Villanueva. This is the book that Jane from Jane the Virgin writes. So the creators of Jane the Virgin took it upon themselves to actually get a book written for what Jane writes in Jane the Virgin. I have no idea who the actual author is. That would be really interesting to know. And the reviews on it are actually like from Jane the Virgin. Like, it's so great. I'm not going to spend time to explain this if you haven't seen Jane the Virgin. If you haven't watched it, please do. It's really, really good. Next, we have one I picked up just because of the author and have pretty much no intention of getting around to it. That is All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. So this is a really annoying shape. Let's just get a normal paperback to prove this to you. It's very annoying. It doesn't fit on any of my shelves perfectly. So Maggie Stiefvater I absolutely loved when I was younger. I loved Shiver and Shiver Forever, Lament, whatever that was, Ballad. I liked all those. And then I recently read The Raven Boys, which I wasn't a massive fan of, and this doesn't have the best reviews. So I need to get it off my TBR shelf, but I don't want to unhaul it. I want to give it a chance. So let's say I've got to do that in 2021. Next, another one from October 2019, and that is Slasher Girls and Monster Boys. Story selected by April Genevieve. Can never pronounce the last name. Tuchol? Don't know. This is a collection of scary short stories. I did really want to get to it this October and forgot I owned it because I'm great. We've got stories in here from Jay Christoph, Marie Lu, Lee Bardugo, so some really good authors. I don't really like short stories, but I wanted to give this one a go. I believe Brittany was unhauling it and I just wanted to give it a shot because it looked cool, and that thing on the front's really scary, so maybe I don't have to wait until October 2021. Next one that's been on my shelves for far too long, and that is Night World Volume 1 by L.J. Smith. L.J. Smith is the writer of The Vampire Diaries. She also wrote one of my favourite books of all time, Dark Visions, which is just behind me, sort of where my thumb is. So I bought this because of the author. It is just 3 short stories. I don't know if they actually mix together or not. I think I've read Night World Volume 2, which makes no sense. Really want to give it a go, and if I hate it, I have no problems with getting rid. I just need to try it. Nearly there. Okay. Orion Lost by Alistair Chisholm. I have no idea. I was gifted this by the lovely Helen. From Helen's Bookhaven. She said I would enjoy it, and she thought I'd enjoy it, would I want it, so I accepted it from her, and I haven't read it yet, so I feel really bad about that because it was such a nice, like, out of the blue offer of a gift. This is a middle grade set in space. I don't know much about it. It needs to be read. Next we have More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. I'm a bit wary about this one because I really liked They Both Die at the End, but I hated History Is All You Left Me. So I think that's why I don't want to go into this one. I'm a bit concerned that I'm not going to like it, but I do really, really want to try. Okay, I've been talking for far too long, so let's just speed this up now. Now I've got You by Joanna Briscoe, which is not You by Carolyn Kepnes. This is a different You. This is about 17-year-old Cecilia, who's obsessed with her English teacher, the older married Mr. Dahl. She plots and speculates, yet she never dreams it could actually happen. But is it her imagination, or is the high-minded Mr. Dahl responding to her? So, teacher-student romance. Wanted to give it a go. I think I got it in a 3 for £5 deal at the works. It's been around for a very, very long time, and I need to read it. Bit similar comments with all of these. Next we have Matched by Ali Condé. So I read this as a young teenager. When did it come out? So I think it came out in 2010, and I would have read it sometime before 2014 and I absolutely loved it and never picked up the rest of the books. Cannot remember what happened in this at all, apart from the fact it broke my heart. So I picked up a copy of it to go back into it and then didn't read it, even though I was so excited to. So I definitely want to get this read at some point in the year, because I just need to relive the childhood YA broken heart love triangle style of my reading. Next, again following on from 2020's list, we have The System by Gemma Malley. This is book number 3 in the Killables series. The Killables is one of my favourite books of all time, and I put The Disappearances, book number 2, on my 2020 list, and I gave that book 3 stars. I didn't really like it, so now it's time to finish the trilogy. Really excited to, I won't lie, but I'm hoping it's more like the first book than the second book, because I didn't like the second. I've held on to the second book so I can keep the whole series if I love this. If I don't, I'm going to have no shame getting rid of The Disappearances and The System, but I need to try it first. And finally, a book series I'd love to finish by the end of 2021. This one I have here is The Heir by Kira Cass. So this is book number 4 in the selection series. I absolutely loved books 1 to 3 and I was ready to jump into book number 4 straight away, but Brittany said don't, because it's different, you're going to be really mad. So we don't follow on from the story in the 1 in this. It's a whole new set of characters and I wasn't ready for that, so I put it off. And I put it off at the start of 2020, so I'd love to finally finish the series. And those are 21 books that I'd like to read in 2021. If you've seen any here that you are dying to read, please do drop me a comment, because I would love to organise buddy reads for some of them just to help me get through them. A lot of them are ones that I don't really want to get to, so if I have any sort of backing from you guys, that would be really helpful and I would really appreciate it. So yeah, on that note, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video, but I will also see you midway through 2021 when we do a quick check-in on where I am with this challenge. So see you then.